Hey kids, I just got top 8 at the most recent Elestrals webcam tournament. I did it playing Lunar Argo. Everybody in my testing group said, hey, let's all bring Lunar Aggro, and I misread that, and so here we are. Not actually. Actually, what happened was it was between this and Hibufin, and then, like, 2 nights before the event, I came up with this killer Polaracne list that I really wanted to play, but I did not have 2 copies of Polaracne. And so, I was faced with a choice. Either I play a list that I know already, or I drive like half an hour to locals and drop $25 on a Cryo Scorch starter deck. I think it's in a Cryo Scorch starter deck. I don't know where Polaracne actually is. Anyways, I ended up picking picking this list. It felt like fine in testing. Kind of got rocked by Blizz, but you know it's fine. It's fine. Anyway, it ended up working up it ended up working out just fine. No script here, just unfiltered gamer explanations. The reason why you're looking at ClashNet right now instead of paper cards is really simple. My light exploded. The light in my room exploded, and I can't use it, and that makes recording very difficult, and I would like to get this out tomorrow morning after the event. This was recorded the night of the event. I probably could have gotten top 4, and I probably should have, but I played like total ass against my goat JJPM, who I 2-0'd in Swiss, and ended up going to game 3 and losing. He played well, and it all came down to a turn 1 play. I had to choose between casting Comalis and Astrabbit. If I cast Comalis, I think I won that game 100 times out of 100. But I cast Astrabbit instead because I thought that I would have more times to develop Comalis. But we'll get into that later. So this deck is really simple. It plays kind of Lunar Aggro adjacent for most of the game. You got your Spectrus, your Nobby, your Eddies. You're playing very standard Lunar Aggro, but with 3 copies of Comalis. And if you just play this, your opponent now suddenly has to respect Argo, because if they ever don't and they walk into the Argo, they lose the game on the spot, because you get to Farrageist, right? So Comalis is the reason to play the deck. It reads Nexus up to 2 Lunar. When you do, search for a Spectral Elestral and add it to your hand. So the targets for Comalis are Comalis itself, Spectrus, and Farrageist. A very common play pattern with this card is Comalis, Nexus, search Comalis. Ideally, a lot of people just kind of go straight for the Farrageist. They're like, oh, I can resolve Comalis, I can search Farrageist, I need to search Farrageist, this is my win condition. But you don't actually. The actual correct way to play with cards like this, and this applies to Exaltus as well, in the solar element, but Comalis, you only search an Ascension if you don't have if you haven't used your normal cast, right? Let's say you have a Comalis in your hand, or on your field. You've resolved the necklace. You go Comalis, or like, you have a necklace on the field. You normal Comalis, use Comalis Nexus 2 from the necklace to Comalis. You search Farrageist. You hit for some damage. You pass. Your opponent then activates Cryoblast, targeting Comalis. The game is now over. Your opponent has won. You probably don't have any more Elestrals in your hand, or if you do, they're not very relevant. And you're sitting with a Farrageist in your hand that your opponent knows about and will never let you stick. So you want to grab more copies of like Comalis, or maybe a Spectrus if you need to, for follow-up, to ensure that you have ways to apply pressure. And then if your opponent ever gives you a turn to breathe, Comalis just wins the game by going for Geist. Make sense? Alright, cool. So we're on 3 Eddy, pretty simple. We're on Water Spirits anyway for Tsunami, so it's not that much of a stretch to play a playset of Eddy, just, more guys that beat. 3 copies of Astrabbit, pretty simple. It's Astrabbit. It's an Elestrals deck. We're going to play Astrabbit. A 1/1 Elechik to search for Zeus, because that's really good. Really strong stuff. We love a 7. I don't think I should have to explain this. We're on 1 copy of Kafnal. Kafnal's a little weird. So I wanted 17 Elestrals. To be honest, I wanted more, but I couldn't really find room. The big issue with playing both a Divine package and Argo is that you just don't have much space in this deck. I didn't know what my 17th Elestral would be, and there really isn't a particularly good one of I can just cleanly slot in there, so I figured Kathmo was probably a good idea, since it's healing that's just really annoying to deal with. It plays really horribly into Spectress, which is a calculation you have to make, but I figured that the number of times where I would lose to Spectress were low enough that I would want to take that chance. We're on Navi because we're playing Lunar Aggro. Navi is the reason to play Lunar. It's incredible. This card's great. And we're also on the associated Doppelganger. We're on 3 Comalis, as mentioned previously. 3 Spectress, because it is the best guy to search with Comalis that isn't Comalis itself, and, you know, you can play with no investment. And we're also on the 1 Ferrogeist to go with our Comalis. We're on EQ, Tsunami, Cryoblasts for removal. We're on 2 Zeus, 3 Ambro, 1 Laurels, 2 PTA, 2 Shield, 2 Argo. I know that Argo doesn't look very appealing in a Hurricane format, but the simple truth is, if you're getting Hurricaned, it doesn't matter anyway, you know? You'll find another chance, it's okay. Hurricane is scary in Blizzstrix, because Blizzstrix wins the game the turn it resolves Hurricane, but the decks that really I was concerned about don't win the game. They just get into an advantageous position. So I figured Argo is worth playing, because if it resolves, you win. 3 Gaze and the 1 Necklace for Argo. If I were to change anything, I would want to find room for a Poison Tunic as well. The thing that lost me game 1 against JJPM in top 8 was he would repeatedly switch my Elestrals to defense, knowing that he had to play around Argo or he would lose on the spot. And that meant that from turn 1, I had an Argo just dead on my field, because I could never safely go for the Necklace, and I had no reason to, because, like, the burn for 2 isn't going to matter, and I can't profit off the stat boost. So the card was just dead on my field, and he ran away with the game. I would like a Tunic so that I could get to a bank that doesn't burn me and works in defense. You know, live and learn. We're on 2 Boombat in the side, 3 Jolton. The 2 Boombats are here. They should be Spoiled Fruits, to be honest with you. I don't own Spoiled Fruit. I'm pretty reliant on prizing in this game. A lot of the top cut prizing that I get is how I acquire cards, just because, like, I don't really make that much money in day-to-day life. So you know, being able to rely on you know, prizing to fund you know, this card game has been very big for me. And my prizing from the last event that I topped, the first Moonrise one, that one was trapped in Texas for about 2 weeks, so I just didn't get it in time. These should be Spoiled Fruits. Luckily, it didn't come up. I narrowly dodged all the heal players, but boy, it felt bad. I never sided in. It didn't come up. We're on 3 Jolton, alongside 1 copy of Mount Olympus and 1 copy of Temple of the Moon. Fire Nexus was very much on my radar for this event. Fire is very, very strong. I very much believe in fire. And so I wanted a way to turn off the Volcanic Forge, because I'm very afraid of a neck buff under Volcanic Forge, right? And so I'm on 3 Jolton, along with 2 Stadiums. Initially, it was 2 copies of Temple of the Moon, because I was like, well, I mean, I'm playing a Lunar deck. I should play Temple of the Moon. But I got pilled on 1 Temple, 1 Mount Olympus, because if you only play Temple, Jolton is completely worthless against Lunar decks. And I don't really like having most of my side be useless against the best deck in the room and the most represented in the room. So we're on 1 copy of Mount Olympus, so that we can turn Jolton into a series of 5s that just permanently buff all my guys, and can make a Doppelganger win in the Doppelganger mirror pretty easily. It didn't really come up. For the most part, I didn't side in this package because I just didn't play against many field spell matchups. We're on 3rd Cryoblast for removal, you know, in matchups where my opponent's not on a lot of Frost. 2 Dense Fog. Last tournament, I took out Dense Fog thinking, oh, well, I mean, what's the worst that could happen? I'm not going to get paired against More Frost. Who plays More Frost? And then I got paired against More Frost. Dense Fog came up a ton. It was super useful today. I'm never taking it out of my sideboards again. 2 copies of Waxing Gibbous. I shouldn't have to explain this. It's really good. The Temple of Moon, as mentioned before, and 3 copies of Divine Blessing to stop Rise from the Ashes. Very good card. Very, very, very good card. Didn't come in, though, and I'm kind of glad about that because I don't own a non-hollow playset. In the Spirit deck, we're on 2 Earth for Earthquake. We're on 3 Water for... we got 2 for Eddy and then 1 for Tsunami. 5 Thunder for our Thunder package. This is just the perfect ratio. 4 isn't enough, but 5 is beautiful, and anything above that is way too loose. 1 Frost for our Cryoblast, 1 Solar for our Calfmel and our Geist, and then the rest are Lunar. I never felt like I had too much or too few of any of my spirits. Loved it. So that's about the deck, and what I would change in the future. Really, it would just be the addition of Poison Tunic and the Spoiled Fruits in the side. Hope you all enjoyed it, and see you next time.